In this video, we will talk about how to create a phone. Here we have an example. So in this phone, you need to fill name, email address, phone number. Then you click submit. Then you submit your contact information. So the phone provides some interactivity between the website and the users. So that's how HTML phone works. So HTML phone will have a front end. We also have a back end. So the front end mostly look at this picture. So this is front end. So pretty much is the browser of a user's computer. And the back end on the server. Usually it's written in language like a PHP or ASP. If you take the advanced website design class, you will learn how to use PHP. This class will only focus on the front end. So for phone, we have a new tag. It's a phone. We need to close it, and the items in the middle. Then also we can choose action. Action means on the server side, what's the program that will process the data. And also we can choose the method. The default is post. Post means if we submit our data, the data will not be visible in the URL address. URL is a website address. So if you change this as get, means your data will be part of the URL. So URL just like this address. And inside a phone, we can have different elements. So let's say example. First will be is called a single line text box. This is the syntax. So let's say example. We started with this structure. Then we need to type phone. We need to close it. Inside the phone, we have something is called the input. The type will be text. Then we need a name. Will be like a first name. So let's save it. And then let's say what do we get? We get a single line phone. Actually here we have a phone, but the phone is invisible. So what display just the element. So this is a single line. Like I said, we can type the first name. So for the single line, we have name. Why we need a name? Because when we submit our data, the server needs to know what is the data for. So with the name, so the server will process the data as first name. What's the value? So in our example, for example, we put some value equal to and reload the data. You can see we get the pre-typed your first name. So that's the value. Means we can type something when user open the web page, they can see the we can see the pre-typed. We can use this as some like a something remind user to type the first name. We also can decide the size. For this is the default size. In our coding, we can decide the size like equal to 10. So let's say we can say how many characters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you can say this is the size of the box. We also can decide the length of the. Here we can decide the maximum number of the character that the user can type. That will be max length. For example, we choose like a max length equal to like 5. It means user can only type 5 characters. So let's say it. 5 means only can have 1, 2. Okay, we need a connect. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no more. So that is the maximum length, value, name, and the type of the single line box. We also can have, it's called the submit button. Because we need to submit our data, so we need to submit button. So we have the same input, type you are equal to submit. We need a name again. The value will display on the button. So let's set. So first is single line. We have some break line here. Then we have the input again. Type equal to submit. Then we should have a name. Like submit. You can choose any name you want. Then we can have the value. Save it. This is what we get. So we have a button. You can say this is the value we typed here. Just submit your data. So that's the submit button. Then we also can have a checkbox. What's checkbox? So let's try it. Again, we need to have a break line. Then we have the input. The type will equal to checkbox. For checkbox, we also need a name. For example, we have like say send mail. We can have something. Okay, first let's see it. What do we have? So we have a checkbox. We can check it. We can uncheck it. So you can say here we don't have any description about the checkbox. So usually we need to add something. Like say, for example, we can add something like then usually we put some paragraph. So we have a send mail. We can check it, uncheck it. So we also can choose if we, like say, on the beginning, when the web page is open, we can display the box as checked. So we just use equal to checked. So the default is checked. So when we send when we submit the data from checkbox, the default value will be on. You can change it if you like it on the server side. We will receive the value on. If you don't like it, you can change as other value. So that is checkbox. We also can have radio button. Radio button means when we have a multiple choice, for example, for rating, we can have excellent, we can have good, we can have bad. So we can choose one of it. So let's say example for radio button. Again, we put some input type equal to radio. Then we have a name. Then we have value equal to I just copy it the type will have the same name, but we will have different value. This one will be good. This one will be bad. So let's say what we get. We get a checkbox. We only can check one. However, again, we don't have the description. So that's why we need to put another paragraph. So we put another paragraph. Then here we have excellent. Here we have good. Here we have bad. Then we also can have a drop-down list. For example, like say when we shaping, we can choose like a standard shaping, well today, well overnight. So here we have a new tag is select. It's not an input anymore. Then we need to close it. And in the middle we have an option. For option we need to close it. So for different option we have different value. We also can decide say which one is the pre-selected. So let's say example. Actually here we should close the paragraph. Okay, then we have selected. We have a name like shaping. Then we need to close it. In the middle we have option. First one value, this one could be 1. And let's copy it. Then we can have 2. We can have 3. Then in the we have option. So first will be standard shaping. We need to close the option. The second is today. Close it. The third one is overnight. Close it. Here we have it's called a drop-down list. We can choose today, overnight, standard. So when we open the web page, the first one will be the default. So will be standard. Sometimes we need to have multiple choice. For example, say what's your interests. So you can say you're interested about arts, politics, or science. You can choose multiple items. So here we add something equal to multiple, and also we can have something equal to size. So let's say the example. Again, I just copy from here, because the only difference is here we have a multiple. Here we don't have we have a different name, interest. Then the first one will be like arts. Second one will be like on computer. This one will be like math. Save it. Say what do we get. So we'll have something like this. So we can choose, if you want to, like you can choose art, and at the same time you hold the control key and click computer science. Then we can choose both. So that's the multiple select. We also can decide the size. Then what's the size? For example, we have other choice. Like say we can decide the size, like say equal to 2. Then we only display 2 options. So that's about in our example we have learned about the single line, submit button, checkbox, radio button, and this is drop-down list, and this is a multiple select list. In next video, we'll introduce more.